Hello and welcome to another update video about Harmony One. So Harmony did, I can't remember when we made the last video really, I would need to look it up, but we have the situation here like on many crypto and altcoin charts that this rally, obviously that started sort of end of December, beginning of January, it did end. We had also here for Harmony One a 5-wave move to the upside with an extended third wave, and we can argue that we had 5 waves up here in this move, right? Would actually need to place, let me just see, I think I need to place the 4th here. Let me just double check that. Yeah, we've got a 5-wave move up here in 5, and we then from up here started a decline, and in this decline we bottomed locally at around 2.25 cents. So idea would be that we completed 5 waves to the upside here, like many altcoins, that we moved down, bottomed obviously locally, moved up in what I would consider still part of the corrective wave within a wave 2, because as you might know, if you've been following my videos, I would normally want to see a wave 2 to get into the area between the 50% retracement and the 78.6 retracement. This is a very common support area for a wave 2. If a chart doesn't get into this wave 2 area, then it's either not a wave 2 or it's not reliable and I don't want to trade it. Not interested. Yeah. However, what can always be, and I made you aware of that situation on several altcoin charts on time, but obviously Harmony One I'm not updating every day, that all of this decline was just an A wave, maybe in a leading diagonal here, yeah, in some kind of a 5-wave structure, possibly an A wave that we moved up here in a B wave and would then come down in a C wave next. I always assume that if the wave A was quite choppy, it looks clearly corrective. The wave B hasn't clearly formed 5 waves, which it hasn't. It looks like a 3-wave structure, actually a very clear one, A, B, C in B, and we could now be coming down in a C wave. That's certainly what I'm observing now. If we get above the 2.8 cent level, it wouldn't necessarily assume or indicate that we are reaching a 5-wave, that we are creating a 5-wave pattern. It could purely be an extension of the B wave. I assume that because the decline was, in my opinion, not sufficient to justify a adequate price retracement of this rally. You need some sort of a decent setback. And sometimes you just don't get it, but then, you know, there are other charts that are doing it and that are more interesting in terms of going in for a long trade because you have just a clearer setup. Tend to avoid charts that don't really do that. Now, the other possibility would be that this year was just the end of a 3rd wave. This year is a 4th and we're now rallying in a 5th. But even then, after the 5th, we should get basically that this would sit here somewhere, right? Then we should get the wave 2. And if we suddenly see impulsive price action from here, then at least after that 5th wave, we should get the strong decline. But for now, I mean, you can say short-term trade is clearly up. Yeah, so short-term trend is clearly up. We moved up here, but certainly price action since yesterday suggests that maybe a more lasting top is in place here. Now, I'm observing that with high interest. At the moment, I don't see a clear trade setup, but what I can tell you is that we are with a high probability, at least that would be my reading, in this B wave, which should eventually come down in C. Now bear in mind, you know that B waves can overshoot as well. If we get an overshooting B wave, it wouldn't be that much different from this wave 5. Yeah, it would make a difference later, but what we need to be aware of, I think, is that we can say quite easy, to make it very simple, as long as we're holding above yesterday's low, which is 2.49 cents or 2.488, we can focus on higher in either a B wave or a 5th wave, yeah, Fifth wave again would mean that we had sort of 5 waves here and would then come down. Yeah, we can focus on higher as long as we hold that level. I think if we break below this level, I mean, then we are breaking below quite a critical level. Why is that? It is because if I'm drawing the fibs off those lows, we would then break basically also below the 61.8 fib level. It's quite an important fib level. We would then probably drop down to the 78.6, but then this has lost everything that, you know, even if you were to interpret some kind of an impulse into this, it wouldn't be reliable anymore. So for me, it's a bit like certainly losing that low from yesterday would indicate further downside, possibly already then into this range, and that the B wave was complete. It's choppy, it's corrective, and that's really everything you need to know, because if the market is not really impulsive and is choppy and is corrective, you might not want to trade it at all for now until we get a clearer setup, or you may just want to sit on the sidelines, just watch it, or maybe just take a small position, because I mean, this is possibly on a shorter time frame, this might make a decent setup for a long trade if you like to. Not high probability for me, but with a stop below the last low, you know, try it. But that's up to you. And I wouldn't see this as a 5-star trade setup. It's more like a 2 or 3-star setup, which has several flaws. Especially if there is a risk we are in a B wave, I tend to ignore it, especially if the B wave has already rallied. Because if it's a B wave, it's basically in resistance. If I draw the fibs, you can see we reacted very nicely to the 78.6 retracement. That is a very, very common retracement for a B wave, and actually sort of, yeah, it's a very relevant one. And if I see a chart reacts to it, it indicates with a fairly high probability that we are moving in the other direction. So it's something for the watch list. If I see that the chart gets down there into this region, I might personally consider a long trade, yeah, or to scale into this area. Until then, I'm just watching this with interest. Short-term trend, in my opinion, is down. We're making lower lows, we're making lower highs here. Very short-term trend up, yeah. But this low is certainly significant for the very short term here, the basically 2.488 cent level. Okay, that's my update about Harmony One. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.